Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Rose Bianco about season 4 of Cobra Kai, streaming worldwide now on Netflix. Welcome back to the show. It's so good to see you.
Thank you. Yes, it's great to see you too. You're always so enthusiastic. I love that you love what you do.
But it's exciting because I love Cobra Kai. Everyone loves Cobra Kai. It hasn't even been a week, and it feels like it's been out for like 2 months almost. And I mean, you expect it at this point, right? I mean, you've been on the show long enough, but it's like, does it ever hit you like how crazy it is when it drops right away?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I am not used to being famous, and all of a sudden, like I got an extra 5,000 followers.
It's like waves, right?
I know. I'm just like minding my own business, doing my jobs, a few days here and there, and all of a sudden, like, yikes. Very exciting.
It's really cool. I mean, there's a lot to love about season 4. There's a lot kind of happening in season 4. I think the writers do an amazing job with everyone kind of has storylines and everything. Rosa, who's Miguel's grandmother, that's a big storyline. Family is kind of a big focal point. I'm just curious. Everyone's focusing on the All Valley, but like when you're kind of reading the script and you're talking to Vanessa, who's playing Carmen and everything, is it evident in your eyes that family is going to be a big focal point for season 4?
It was evident that Miguel was feeling those pangs of needing to find his father.
Yeah.
You could kind of tell even before that terrible moment when I actually, you read these scripts and you kind of get an idea of what's going to go on, and then when you see how it's executed, I mean, that was a freaking bombshell.
Yeah.
And also, I was like, "Oh, go Sholo! Wow, my God, that acting was amazing!" It was
Yeah.
really good.
And then he turns. Yeah, I know it's crazy, but it's interesting too because I think you see it a lot in season 4 as well. Rosa has that kind of like, you have that a little bit of that comic relief sort of thing, but you also have that kind of like moral support and kind of words of wisdom. There's like Rosa is a very interesting character in that regard. Is that what do you like playing? What do you like the most, Rose, about playing Rosa in Cobra Kai?
Gosh, that's really a good observation.
Yeah.
It's definitely, they give her a lot of funny lines.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of seriousness that goes on.
Yep.
So there were Johnny has some very funny line, and he just drops those. Gosh, like they just cracked me up. Nate had a really funny line. I just laughed out loud for real. Oh, he said, "The Highlander, there can only be one." It just like cracked me up. It's the delivery, So, but in addition to that, because sometimes when they're directing me, they don't want me necessarily to be overly sweet, and I'm kind of a sweet person by nature. So, you have to kind of act a little bit more tough, I guess you would put it, and joking around. Mm-hmm. And always, there's never a doubt that she has got all their backs at any time for any reason. Yeah. And and that's kind of inherent in all of my little scenes. They're always like, "I got your back. I love you. I got your back."
She's witty. Like Rose is very witty. She has a lot of funny lines, right?
She's wittier than me.
No, I'm wondering if this is a good time, Rose, to bring out some dad jokes, see if you get them, because I have some dad jokes. I wonder if you're gonna clue in.
Right. I read a dad joke today. I'm gonna tell you. A kid says, "I finally worked up the courage to ask the cashier at the supermarket for a date." And she said, "There's an aisle 12 by the bananas."
Oh my God. Well, did you hear about the
I'm sorry.
the restaurant on the moon that had great food but zero atmosphere?
I know, right.
No, let's just get back to the interview. This is a bad bit.
I'm sorry. Moving along.
No. like I said in the beginning of the interview, a lot of different kind of focal points and storylines. Obviously, the return of Terry Silver is huge. One of my favorites, and I just wanted to know, like, as someone who's worked on the show, but also as a fan of the show, you said in a previous interview as well, you love the show. This new rivalry between Griffin's character, Anthony LaRusso, and Dallas's character, playing Kenny, is just amazing and just pays homage to like the original kind of rivalry. What did you think about seeing that on screen and seeing how that's kind of developed? It's awesome.
It is incredible. It's almost like a story within the story.
Yeah.
And they just established Kenny's character so perfectly.
Yeah.
He's just a happy-go-lucky kid. He's excited about going to school. His dad, is in the army, and we don't know what happened to his brother. We don't know about that, but I thought he died or something. Well, and then his whole trajectory is very dramatic, and Dallas is equal to the task. Oh my gosh!
Well, let me tell you something. So I'm asking this question now. You have watched season 4? Like, you've seen it?
I watched all of season 4.
Okay, I always ask but like for me, and you know how it is, right? You've done a lot of these amazing. You've done other interviews in the past with like Cobra Kai Nation, and there's a lot of other as well. And there's a lot of like theories and a lot of videos and rumors and everything. I stay away from that as much as possible because I love the show so much and I want to go in as fresh as possible. Yeah. So when we found out that Kenny's the younger brother to Sean, Robby's friends, and apparently some people kind of had an idea, read about it. Like, I went in fresh. That was like my OMG moment of the season. Like, I was like freaking out. Like, after episode 2, when they pan, he's like, one of them knows karate, and then they pan to Sean, played by OK. I was like, yes, that is unreal.
So then you know what's going to happen. So they really set it up really nicely. There were so many OMG moments, by the way, but
for me, I love that one though. That was
just a minor one.
Yeah.
Because when it happened, it just seemed so natural. I'm like, oh yeah. Oh my gosh, they've tied it in. They tie things
Well,
up.
I mean, the OMG moment, I don't know. I want to see if you know what I'm talking about now. The OMG moment right before the OMG moment in season 4 at the end was like my favorite.
Right.
Yeah. Because they throw so much at you at the end in the last 10 minutes. Of it. It's like, what is happening?
I was like, what's the very last thing that happens? Oh, yeah. All right.
That was cool. Yes. But before that was like, oh my goodness.
By the way, I just want to finish talking about Griffin.
Yeah.
Who, my gosh, he's a really good actor. So that's why that whole story of that bullying, there were a lot of social messages 100%. That were kind of buried in this and within the plot. There's plot that has to move it along. And there's so many good, oh my gosh. The whole Tori story Tori is definitely savable. And I'm so happy. That girl's so good. But Griffin and Dallas, their story, they were such good young actors that we could just go with it, and know and we all know what's happening, and we could feel it, and his regret, even as the really obnoxious kid was being horrible.
Absolutely. And the return of Terry Silver was something they always kind of like talk and build up kind of a return, and like we know that Terry Silver's returning, but then kind of seeing it like on screen and seeing like what he does, it's just like it was amazing. It was so amazing to see. Like, it was so cool to see it. He did such a good job, Thomas.
He really did. And it's kind of like you saw the trailers and you kind of know what's coming. It's like I read the script and I'm pretty sure what's happening. Mm-hmm. But until you see it, and the way that, because I'm not there a lot, obviously, and so the way it's being directed and the way that they're deciding to really go for it in a big way, and how that works, with Kreese, it works, and it's like a very natural. But when you get some of these out there, it works because you just believe it within the story.
Yeah.
And so Terry Silver, I met Thomas on the set. Very nice man. He told me a little bit of he's married and he lives in LA and his wife Wright, and he's just like just so normal, you know?
Yeah, and then
When I saw it was so crazy.
It's funny because we interviewed Nick Marini, who plays young Terry Silver in like the flashback scenes, and they had the whole Vietnam thing in last season, and they brought him back for a scene in this season, and he said he's like to go in and kind of play this vulnerable character who's like there for his friend that is gonna like turn kind of crazy is a very interesting acting experience.
Yeah, well, it's interesting for him to see how his trajectory is going to evolve.
Yep.
Because he was fearful. He seemed very fearful when he was young.
Yep.
And so that got twisted, somehow. And
I didn't see that coming though. Like, I mean, I put it in the interview, like spoiler alert, but I didn't see the turn, like Terry Silver turning on Kreese. Like I didn't see that. Again, people maybe read theories and everything. I went in fresh. I didn't see that coming. I was like, whoa, that was like that I didn't even know they were going to do that. They were going to like do that kind of angle to show that Kreese wasn't that bad. Like I didn't think about that at all.
Right. Well, I think Kreese has mellowed a little, certainly since the Karate Kid 1.
Yeah.
Right. But I didn't expect him. He didn't do a lot, but even the little bit that he did, like let her do what she wants, that he softened a little bit, and he realized how he screwed up Johnny's life by being so unbelievably hard-nosed. So.
And then as soon as he kind of tries to turn a little bit to the good, he gets framed.
Yes.
I know, but there's so much to love, and I'm so happy for you because, Rosa had some pretty cool moments in season 4. I wanted to thank you so much for coming back on the show and chatting. It was great catching up with you.
Well, thank you. It was great catching up too. It was so nice to talk to you. You're just like one of the most effusive host. I swear to God, I love how you're like, you coming at it. You're so excited.
Well, because it's exciting. We're talking about you're on one of the biggest shows in the whole world.
That's true.
Why?
I can't even wrap my head around that.
You're on one of the biggest shows on the planet. We got to be excited about it. If we're not, what are we doing here?
I know. I'm so excited.
You have an Instagram account. People can follow you on that, right?
Yes, Rose.Bianco. Yes.
Amazing. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative. For previous episodes, you, of course, can catch Rose Bianco as Rosa in season 4 of Cobra Kai, streaming now on Netflix. Until next time, this is Rose Bianco and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.